In this session, we will run the 12D RoadFlow module. This module is found on the main menu under Design. Moving down to ToFlow, it is the first option, RoadFlow. The RoadFlow panel has 8 required fields and 3 optional. The first time we run this, we'll only use the required fields. The first field asks for the ToFlow grid extent. This defines the boundaries for the 12D grid that will be exported to ToFlow. So first of all, when we create this grid, we have one already created down here in our plan view, but we're going to draw our own. When you're going to draw your own, what we'll do is type in TF as a prefix for ToFlow, and then go Control-D for display. And 12D will display all the string names that would be appropriate for a ToFlow model. Now these names aren't required, but you will find that it makes things a little bit easier if you use them. So we're going to select the ToFlow grid extents. When you select this name, it fills in the model. This is the model that will hold the string. The extent model can only have one string in it, no more. It'll be yellow, and it's going to use the line style flow line. Now to draw this, we're going to come down here and we're going to use our CAD polygon options. And moving across, we're going to use the rectangle from 3 points. Now the first point we'll use, and I'm just going to trace over the existing one, marks the origin in the bottom left-hand corner. The second point defines the X direction. It doesn't have to be directly in the X direction. You could put it up at an angle if you wanted. Picking the second, when you pick the third point, it defines the height. So we'll select the height of that and accept it, and we have that all ready to go. Now we don't want to have 2 strings, as I mentioned, so what I'm going to do is go delete the original one. So I'm going to go to my CAD, delete, come across here to delete a string, and go select the first one. You'll notice that this one doesn't have a name. That's the one we're looking to delete. Our new one, if you clicked again, you would see it does have a name. That's the one we created. Now we don't want to accept that. I'm going to escape so that we don't delete it. Alright, we're ready to pick that now. So we'll go pick that string and accept it. And it's looking for a cell size. The minimum cell size that we recommend using is 1 meter at this time. The Manning's N. A Manning's N for the roadway of 0.015 would be appropriate. And as I mentioned before, we're going to do rainfall on grid. So let's put a constant rainfall of 50 millimeters per hour onto the entire area. For the duration, we're only going to run this for 0.1 of an hour, so 6 minutes, to keep the run time short during the training. Because it is such a short run, there's nothing wrong with recording the results every 10 seconds. Of course, if you were running for a very, very long job in ToFlow, you might not want to record quite at such a short frequency. When ToFlow requires elevations at the center of each side and at the center of each cell. In order to get these elevations, we need to select an existing 12D tin. Now that's going to be the ground tin, the one you see in the 3D perspective view. It could also be a super tin. Now, from that, we're going to extract the levels for the ToFlow, and I'm going to put that with the prefix ToFlow, and I'm going to call that my ground grid tin. Grid tins are new to version 10, and that's what we're going to use to extract the elevation for the center of the cell and the sides. To do this, that grid tin will be created with a ½ meter spacing. So ToFlow will be using a 1 meter cell size, but so that we can get elevations for the center of the cells, we'll be extracting them on a ½ meter interval. These last 3 that we don't need, so we're ready to go with the Run button. When we select the Run button, you'll see the message tells us that the file has been written out into an XF8 format. That is a high-speed format for the grid that ToFlow knows how to read. The ToFlow panel pops up. This presents us with many of the parameters that ToFlow sends to 12D while it's running. The first thing that we might find interesting is the number of wet cells. So we've got approximately 10,000 wet cells in this job, And down below here, you see how much time is remaining before it's finished. That's modeling time, so that's real time. And there's also a progress bar. When it finishes, it comes back to 12D, indicating that the two-flow run is complete.